Hi guys, this is Jeff at Slaylands Racing. Just want to give you an update on my build. I've been working on this 24-300 XC-W KTM. And today I mainly focused on the front part of the bike. I got rid of the stock forks and put on the Slaylands Mule MX Tech Raven forks that include triple clamps. Those are a gigantic upgrade over stock. The stock suspension, as I mentioned before, is good for stock suspension, but it still leaves a lot to be desired in rocks and roots. It's way too stiff for the rocks and roots. It's not, really lacks compliance. So, and that can be fixed with valving, but I wanted to go up a notch above that, way above that. That's with these forks. So I installed those today. Also installed a new Bridgestone X31 front tire in 8100. I do not use the fatties for Colorado. Put a balancing weight on it right there. That's not enough to really totally balance it, but that's going to take. I just kind of slapped that on there. I didn't put it. I didn't actually put it in a touring stand and balance it, but that will definitely give it a smoother ride on gravel roads and stuff like that. It's got tubeless down here. You can see that's just some armor all coming out of there. So I always run tubeless. And over on this side you can see a different bracket, that black bracket. That allows me to run a larger front disc. So I'll run, don't quote me, but I think it's 10 millimeters larger. It's a kit that we have on our site, slaylandsracing.com. And you would think that would make the front brake touchier, but actually it makes it less touchy. That's the problem with KTM front brakes, the KTM Husky gas, is that when you start getting aggressive with them, start riding aggressively, the front brake gets touchy, it gets grabby. And it's hard to figure out when that grab point is, when it's going to bite. Whereas with this disc setup, it's much easier to modulate. I'm not going to use the word progressive because that's not correct. It does not make it more progressive. It makes it more consistent to modulate. So you can really feel it better. You can tell when you're going to break traction. All right, on the headlight here, it came with the, this piece here. Looks like a turn signal mount to me, probably for the EXC models, but I cut that off on both sides. I didn't like it. I thought it was just kind of tacky looking and unnecessary, and so I just cleaned things up and got rid of that, kind of buffed it all out. It came out pretty clean. Up here, so I've got kind of a hybrid setup on triple clamps right now. I've got the rocks on the top and the Luxon on the bottom. Luxon top and bottom clamps come with the forks, but right at the moment, MX Tech was out of the top clamp that I wanted, the one with the multiple positions, the hard mount, not the rubber mount. So anyhow, right at the moment I'm running this rocks on the top. I'll switch that later. Also have the XC Gear Mako 360 handlebar mount, which I highly recommend. And I know I'm going to get guys that are going to ask which is better, this or the Flex. I'd give them both a 10. I mean, they're both top of the line for isolating your hands, your elbows, your shoulders, and everything from the trail trash. For me, I'm trying to keep my old body going, and I wish I had this kind of stuff, 50 years ago when I started riding. So my hands and shoulders and things would be in better shape. Okay, let's see right down here. One little thing I did was I changed where the hose, the vent hose goes. Stock, it goes right here in this hole that goes down through the steering stem, and then it dumps out on your fender, and then that combined with the dirt, you get this heck of a mess on your fender, and then it also gets back on the radiator, makes a mess on it. So I don't like that. So I clean this up. It will just go into the frame and down the bottom. Over here I've got a left-hand rear brake from Recluse. I absolutely love those. And then the SXS handguards on both sides. They're really clean looking. I like the black anodize. I have asked them to make a couple little changes to this. We'll see what happens there. Let's see, back to the XC gear mount. I put in titanium bolts there. Everything here is titanium. And let me see up here. Lance, one of these days, is going to make me a cable guide. I've been begging him for 2 years now to make it. He's going to come to Colorado this summer to ride, so that'll give me a chance to kick him right in the pants. And then in order, then for me, you know, I'm tall, I'm 6'3", plus I've got long arms. And so I need to change the ergonomics of the bike to fit me to where I'm more comfortable, to where I can ride the pace that I want to. And what you need to know about the different mounting positions is to look up, you know, draw a line in the center of this fork tube all the way up to here, and then see where your handlebars are in relation to that. And you can see that these bars are slightly forward of the center position. And the reason you need to look at that is because all the different clamps don't give you the same outcome. So in other words, if you put the rubber mounted clamp in the second position, it's not the same position as the second position on the hard mount cast clamps. So you just need to be aware of that and judge this, and maybe look at your old bike if it was comfortable for you and get it in the correct position. All right, I'm using number 5 positions because these are a 6-position clamp. There's position 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6. And I've got it in 5. All right, and in order to put the odometer back on the bike, you can see it's a tight squeeze, and that's with moving it forward quite a bit. If you look in here at those spacers right in there, that's what I put in there to move it forward. Of course, longer bolts included. And when it comes to spacers and bolts, guys, you know, I highly encourage you to start building a collection of that stuff. I've been collecting bolts for years, buying bolts. Any bolt that I take off for some reason I keep. But nowadays you can just go to Amazon, order to Slavens Racing. At Slavens Racing we've got a great selection of the original KTM parts, including some of the special ones for like the subframe and stuff like that. So I highly recommend you start there with buying one of those kits, but then start filling it out by going to Amazon or somewhere online, because you can buy these kits in a plastic divided box very inexpensively. And it can save your butt when you're trying to build something at home. You can see I've got all kinds of washers here. And then I've got electrical, and you know, it goes on and on and on. Up here, I believe I've got the spacers. But you know, a lot of those spacers are things that I've just collected over the years. But a lot of it are new that I bought from Amazon. And it saves your butt when you're working on your bike. Saves a lot of frustration, allows you to do a better build. You know, sometimes I'll drop a bolt, and I keep my shop very, very clean, but those little bolts have a way of hiding. And rather than spend a half hour on my hands and knees trying to find a bolt, I'll just go get a different one and then find that one later. It usually shows up when I'm cleaning the shop or something. Okay, what else here, guys? I installed a new tank today. I went to the 3.1 at Cherubies. 3.2, I believe it is. Maybe I already mentioned that, I'm not sure. And then on the headlight, Chris at Motomind is going to make me a new connector and a new bezel so that I can install this Evo headlight. So that's the Evo. I really like those. They're you know, it's not if you're a true night rider, you need a bigger one than that, which we also have. But for what I do, that's an excellent light. And I think that's about it. I think I already mentioned the map switch. Maybe not. Not sure if I mentioned this or not, guys. So this is the map switch. I just, this is off of my XC. I want to run it on here for a while to see if I like it or not. It might end up come right back off, but so just so you're clear on what the map switch does, from the factory, they've got this little dongle. It's basically just a resistor that plugs into the harness right behind the headlight. So you don't have to pull the tank or anything to get to the wiring. The wiring for that map switch is behind the headlight, and the connector has this plugged into it. And that keeps it in the high output mode. So the green map here is the high output, the white map is the lower output, you know, the dumbed down map. Don't know that I'm going to need that much in Colorado, but back east or out in the northwest where you have a lot of slimy mud, might be a great thing. All right, so I'll just give you a quick view of everything here. I think it came out pretty clean. I'm really picky about my handlebar setup. You know, I spent a long time on this today, way too long. Of course, I was kind of dinking around and daydreaming, whatever, but came out nice. And then my wiring is all really clean. And all the routing of different hoses and things. You can see in there. All right, guys, if you have any questions about this, please make a comment down below. I'm glad to help you out if you're doing a build. Also, like us on Instagram and Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Send us in your pictures and videos of what you're doing. You can send those to alec@slavensracing.com. And I just want to give you heads up on our trails out here. Here we are, July 9th, I believe is today. And we still have snow blocking trails. In the Crested Butte, Taylor Park area, there are major trail systems over there that are buried in snow. Feet of snow. And probably be a couple more weeks before they're open. Please do not go around that snow or log jams or down trees and damage our trail system. This past weekend over in the Sargent's area, so back up there, actually all of the Sargent's area now is open for riding if that's a place you'd like to go. Yesterday up on the Crest Trail, several crews got up in there and shoveled snowdrifts. They shoveled paths through snowdrifts to get through because rather than wait for it to melt, they shoveled the paths because guys on dirt bikes had already been bypassing the snowdrifts and tearing up the tundra. And for you guys that are not from Colorado, tundra is extremely fragile. It's these little tiny fragile plants that only have a very short growing season. They're only above timberline. And when you damage tundra, those tracks are there for not just years, quite often decades. That stuff heals very slowly, and we'd appreciate if you'd stay off of it. If you come to a situation like that, turn around. Or get out your shovel. So, that's all for now, guys. Please like us on Instagram, Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, like I said a minute ago. But best thing is get out for some throttle therapy. That's all for now.